Shaft? More like Bath to find another movie to watch because this one's really bad.
Nailed it. Stuck the landing
Thank
and
you.
everything.
I appreciate that. I'll be here all week.
I want to point out that this film does no service to its female characters who are unagented, who are unagented, who are unagented, who are unagented. Oh my God.
It's a hard word.
It's
unagented. It's weird.
Who do not have agency, eat art. I want to point out yet again that this film does no service to its female characters. They are not.
Don't laugh.
I can't help it.
Okay. It's The Critics in the Crowd, the podcast that tries to cut through the controversy and give you the unvarnished truth about divisive media. I am Liz Ramirez, the cool co-host of Critics in the Crowd. I'm an actress, producer, movie fan, and buddy cop movie enthusiast. I am perky, spunky, and utterly right about all of my movie choices, except for the ones that don't live up to my memories of them. Prom night? Anyone? Whatever. I'm joined by Steele Philipek. Say hello, Steele.
Hello, Steele.
Oh, thank you, Steele, for that wonderful dad joke. I opened you up to that anyway. Listen, buddy cop movies, my fave. I do have to point out that my number one is Rush Hour, but I also like movies like Get Smart and The Heat. Yeah, Get Smart. Get Smart.
I love the original Get Smart.
Actually, like the new one. I know. He's looking at me, guys. He's looking at me in a way. He's angry. Anyway, okay. Thank you for pitching today's film.
Well, first, let's get this out of the way. There's going to be a lot of inadvertent puerile humor throughout today's episode, so let's just get semantically satiated. Shaft. Shaft.
That was really impressive. Wait, shaft, because it's supposed to be like that's like
a penis.
Okay, got it.
Yes, Shaft, and not the 1970s Shaft or its 2000 remake. This is the 2019 version in what is the second most confusing titled films in cinematic history. We have, in chronological order, Shaft, Shaft's Big Score, Shaft in Africa, Shaft, and Shaft. 60% of the films in this series share the same title.
What's the first? The first most confusing titled films in cinematic history.
The Rambo series. There's First Blood, Rambo First Blood Part 2, Rambo 3, Rambo, and Rambo Last Blood. I'll also give an honorary mention to the film Zombie, which is alternatively called Zombie and Zombie 2 in international markets.
Back to Shaft.
The stats. 2019's Shaft is a true sequel to the original series and the 2000 film of the same title, which itself was a requel and even returned the first actor to play the titular main character, Richard Roundtree, to the role for a cameo. It is directed by Tim Story, who had hits in Barbershop, Ride Along, and the 2005 Fantastic Four film, as well as its sequel, Rise of the Silver Surfer.
That's my favorite one.
I'm sorry. I honestly, I am flabbergasted.
No,
audiences.
the Fantastic Four, the first one and the second one, perfect, amazing. I love them. Silver. Why is the Silver Surfer? Why is he kind of? Never mind.
It's Lawrence Fishburne's voice. Yeah. Shaft stars Richard Roundtree alongside the legendary Samuel L. Jackson, who has too many credits to list, and Jesse T. Usher, who had broken out in the shows Level Up and Buyer's Remorse before going on to play A-Train in The Boys on Amazon Prime.
Budgeted between $30 and $35 million, Shaft hit theaters in June of 2019 and dropped almost as quickly. It was savaged by critics and ignored by fans, at least initially, only pulling in just north of $21 million. That's a flop, and a surprise one, considering that the first Shaft was a seminal film of the 70s and the 2000 version was pretty popular too. It also has one of the catchiest theme songs ever written, for which Isaac Hayes won an Oscar when the film was released way back when, becoming the first non-white, non-actor to win an Academy Award. The synopsis from Rotten Tomatoes.
John Shaft Jr. may be an FBI cybersecurity expert, but to uncover the truth behind his best friend's untimely death, he needs an education that only his dad can provide. Absent throughout his childhood, the legendary John Shaft agrees to help his son navigate the heroin-infested underbelly of Harlem, New York. Besides, the locked and loaded Shaft has his own score to settle, both professional and personal.
The Rotten Tomatoes critical consensus reads as such.
Decades removed from the original, this multi-generational Shaft struggles to keep its characters interesting or anything other than uncomfortably outdated.
Currently, the rated critics at Rotten Tomatoes has 2019 Shaft at 34% a star and a half. But audiences are much more forgiving. Much more forgiving, with Shaft listed at 93% from crowd. That's 59 points apart. More than 2 stars, almost 2.5.
Initial thoughts. Liz, what were you thinking coming into this film? I know this is a pointless question, but had you ever seen any of the original films?
Okay, folks. I had never heard of this movie until Steele said we should do it for an episode. And from the looks of the title and the film poster, it seems like, a brand of action movie that never interested me. I assumed it would be your run-of-the-mill Hollywood action hero movie like, I don't know, a Jason Bourne, a John Wick, or The Equalizer, all of which I also have not seen, but assume they are pretty much the same thing. Sorry, y'all.
You know what they say about assumptions.
You make an ass of yourself. Right? Or am I wrong?
Ass of you and me, because I assume.
Oh my god! I realize it's because how it's spelled.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, I'll say it took me way too long to recognize that.
Okay, I'm glad that I can know it now. Thank you for that.
So I love the original Shaft and dug its 2000 requel. I think Shaft's big score and Shaft in Africa don't quite capture the magic, but I do enjoy them, and they have their ardent admirers. There's also a fair bit of discussion about race regarding the film series. It was based on a novel by Ernest Tiedemann, who won an Oscar for The French Connection, but in the book, the main character is white. Some people say this was a cynical way to capitalize on the blaxploitation films of the 70s to go against type, or that it perpetrated stereotypes of black men in New York, depicting some as gangsters, drug dealers, thieves, and con artists. From a contemporaneous review in The New Yorker, Clayton Riley writes, quote, "Under the devious guise of providing the black American with a new and positive image of his or her life, these films confer upon the viewer, black or white, little more than a pretended glamour and sophistication, the empty, repetitive wasteland of ancient Hollywood traditionalism." Unquote. I also want to read a quote that pushes back. Ed Guerrero, in the book Framing Blackness, stated that the first Shaft is, quote, "a fun film which people could attend on a Saturday night and see a black guy winning," unquote. I sometimes get mocked by other people on this podcast for being too critical or obsessed with high art, but I definitely love a good, fun film that is more roller coaster ride than Rembrandt. Furthermore, Richard Roundtree was highly positive of his role and felt that it opened the door to a lot more roles for him and other black men that would have automatically gone to white men. Tiedemann, the writer, would eventually be honored by the NAACP for his work on the film. I'm not saying that this automatically gives Shaft a pass, just that its legacy isn't all positive or 100% negative either. Regardless, I didn't know any of this growing up. I just saw Shaft as a blast of a movie that touched on some racial issues, of which I was only vaguely aware.
I had truly no idea what to expect coming into this experience or watching this movie, but I think that made my job that much more exciting.
Ready to get into the synopsis?
Let's do it.
We open in the past, 1989 in Harlem specifically. Detective John Shaft, no, not the original, but his son, is a member of the New York Police Department. He skirts the rules, and he's made a number of enemies, not the least of which is his wife, Maya, who is really laying into him. Women, am I right?
Shaft's distracted, however. 3 men, gangsters under the employ of one Piero Gordito Carrera, are approaching his car. They open fire, but Shaft's got it under control and plugs the 2 idiots before wounding a third, finding Gordito's mark on some drugs in the guy's wallet. Shaft is calm, cool, and collected, but that's enough for Maya, though. She can't handle this anymore. She is leaving. For good this time. And she's bringing their infant son, JJ, who is in the backseat with her.
I don't typically like starting in the past and then flashing forward. I'm going to insert a Rick and Morty quote here.
I feel like, we should start our stories where they begin.
Here, however, I think it works because we have a lot of other elements at play. We're introduced to Gordito, who will come back. We get some world building with Shaft, and there's a whole slew of blaxploitation here that is purposefully overdone so it can be subverted in just a minute. The swag of Shaft, the swearing, the violence, the cool reveal of the title as Shaft walks back to this car, I am in.
I thought this was a crazy start to the film. Also, I will say I did like the intro though, where we're taken back in the past and the music. I was kind of feeling it. I was like, wait a second, this is more my movie. Because I was watching Venom recently because we're gonna be doing that in the future. Woohoo! But I was like, wait, okay, this I really like. I think it's a modern take on a classic film style, which I also like. It's that got that very 70s feel. Though it was a crazy opening, I think it brought us into the world and did what it needed to do. So I was like, okay, I'm in it. Let's watch. Let's continue.
I initially saw this on an airplane because the film left theaters too quickly for me to catch a screening. And thank God, I've got a big TV now. I enjoyed watching this on a teeny screen, but I was hooked by the colors, the look, the feel, just everything about this opening really got me going.
After a montage of JJ growing up, and Shaft being his shaftiest, we return to the present. Shaft is a private investigator. Go see 2000 Shaft for how that happened. Working the streets of New York. And JJ has graduated from MIT and is a rookie FBI agent. Unlike his father, JJ has zero swag, but just as much skill. Kareem, an old friend, calls and wants to hang. We got an armload of awkward exposition as we learn about Kareem's former drug habit, JJ's crush on their mutual friend Sasha, and the fact that he's a data analyst. It's inelegantly handled, but as Lady Holiday told Miss Piggy in The Great Muppet Caper, it's plot exposition. It has to go somewhere. I wish I knew how Lady Holiday said that.
It's plot exposition. It has to go somewhere. I might even cut it into it. You did pretty good.
Cut into it. Okay.
It's plot exposition. It has to go somewhere.
Just then Titus Welliver. Special Agent Vietti calls JJ and the rest of his team into a conference room. They're focusing on terrorism and terrorist-related activities, beginning in Harlem at the Rashad Azam Mosque. JJ eagerly asks for the assignment, but Vietti turns him down. There's a hierarchy that JJ needs to respect.
JJ awaits Kareem for a drink, his inability to flirt with the bartender completely undoing him. But Sasha tags along, so the duo is now a trio. There's more important stuff afoot for Kareem. He's ex-army and has a new business, Brothers Watching Brothers, a rehab program to help vets like him get back on their feet after being mustered out. Kareem's got something else that he has to run and go do. He awkwardly leaves, but not before telling JJ that he appreciates him and how he always was there for him. Seeing Avenge from Victorious here, wild. I was like, yo, this is the first movie I've seen him in outside of Victorious, which I know is like probably really bad. I'm sorry, Avon. I'm sorry. Here's my thing with movies like these. With the shots at oversensitivity. It is so, at the time, probably not overplayed, but when movies do it now, it pisses me off. 2019 is not even that long ago. It pisses me off. Like, they're like, everyone's a snowflake and I can't say this and I can't say that. Can you shut the hell up? Like, please, just don't be an asshole. I know Gen Z and millennials will fight over political correctness and politically correct things to say until we are blue in the face. I just have to say, though, that these things don't get my knickers in a twist. Like these, saying these things, they don't annoy me. It's just, it's a tired statement to make in your pieces. It's a tired statement to make in your art. Gen Z is so sensitive. Yeah, well, who is the one literally saying that all the time? All we ask for is consideration. There will be extremists on both sides. Everyone just needs to take a chill pill. Okay, calm down.
I love the physical stuff of Shaft crossing the street and not giving one flying you-know-what about traffic, and JJ apologizing when he's almost run over by a car. It's a great bit of humor and characterization married together, son and father juxtaposed. Also a nice subversion here, which gets us on JJ's side. Yes, his relationship with his father is strained, but he's a good guy, albeit a little bit of a goober.
I actually kind of liked JJ, this actor. I thought his comedy, hits pretty well. Later in the film, I think I kind of was like, oh God, it's getting a little played. But I think he was pretty funny, and I was surprised I hadn't seen him in more stuff. I looked up his IMDb and I was like, hey, he really hasn't done too much, and I think he should.
He's great in the television work he's done, so check that out. And his film work is also good. I enjoyed his performance here too, particularly against Samuel L. Jackson,
right,
who is
powerhouse.
The uber masculine.
Literally, I'm watching this movie and I'm like, he's literally just having fun.
Yeah. I will say the exposition here is a lot, and it's about as subtle as a dead wombat pickled in bear shit. And Kareem's words to JJ as he walks away, it's all but a telegram to the audience that he was about to get whacked. JJ's mother, Maya, calls him up the next day with the bad news. Kareem is dead from an apparent heroin overdose. JJ seems suspicious. Kareem claimed he was clean, and at Sasha's insistence, remembers to put the investigate in Federal Bureau of Investigation. The trail leads to Manny, Kareem's supposed dealer, who is less than helpful, in that he knocks the tobacco juice out of JJ. Sasha tends to JJ's wounds, and we learn that both A, JJ isn't a gun guy, and B, that Kareem couldn't have overdosed on his own. After Sasha looks at the toxicology report JJ managed to snag, she realizes the levels are way too high. JJ needs to talk to Manny, but that dealer's not the kind of guy to chit-chat over tea. JJ needs backup. He needs Shaft.
Father and son are reunited in Harlem at Shaft's office. There's some contention. Shaft had a not-so-tastefully underdressed lady friend over, is drinking at 11 a.m., and is generally dismissive of JJ's attitude and outfit. JJ, for his part, was greeted by his father with a gun to the back of his head, and is a bit miffed that his father abandoned him a quarter century earlier. Something about JJ's case intrigues his father, however, and after learning that Manny dropped JJ, his dad genes kick in. It's time for payback.
You know what I miss? Gratuitous nudity in films. It used to be all over the place, but now we have morals and artistic credibility. But then, in movies like this, we get a fine pair of breasts just randomly on screen, like finding a 10 in your pocket after doing the wash. Not going to change your life, but it's a nice way to start the day.
Oh my God. I feel completely opposite. I was like, what the? Oh my God! Oh my God! And then the glitter on his chin, on his mouth, my jaw dropped. I was like, oh my God, Samuel Jackson, you are literally in a movie where it is innuendoed, I suppose. Is that an innuendo?
I'm not even sure if it's innuendo. It's outright
It's
stating.
like outright stating that he was just doing some business. Crazy, wild. You know, they really did a good job of showing Shaft's way about things, I suppose. But I was like, put your clothes back on, please. I can't do this. Yeah, but maybe that's because I see like Samuel L. Jackson as like a grandfather character. Sorry, Samuel. But like, I just was like, what?
More of that in the trivia. I didn't catch that glitter the first time I watched it because I was watching it on an airplane screen. So when I watched it this time on my big screen, I'm like, oh, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah. I really think that these two guys right from the start have great chemistry, and it's, you know, just another great father-son buddy cop situation, and I dig that. Kind of like Big Mama's House.
Yes.
But the third one with, you know, the son.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Like father, like son, is that what it is?
I think so. Something like
Anyway.
that. I know I should hate John Shaft's attitude, but Samuel L. Jackson makes him so f***ing cool. And his determination to do right by JJ, even if it's completely misguided, softens some of his extreme edges.
Of course, like one of the ways that they show Shaft being like this cool guy is that they have some woman, you know, and we'll talk about some of the problems this movie has with women. Okay,
don't you worry, I've got.
I'm so glad you have a choice words to say, because I was like, oh, we're really starting off with something here. Okay, but anyway, I just was like, it seems like an overplayed trope of, you know, these cool guys. Like one of the cool aspects of this cool guy is that he has like women around him. You know, that's what any cool guy has, women, right? And like they're just like handing themselves over, like, you know, and which is like this happens throughout the movie, you know, where he has those two girls that he has at the club or whatever. I don't know, what are they named? Whatever.
Sugar and Spice.
Oh yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, I'm just like, ugh, that is definitely an overplayed trope. It's trite.
It is trite, and I'll say that it quote unquote works for Shaft, meaning that it's
maybe
about his character. But I also think that it's subverted with JJ because he's not into that. He has that moment with those women in the club, and he immediately screws it up by vomiting over one woman. But really, he's not really interested in the opposite sex, with the exception of Sasha. He's a one-woman guy. So I think the film is purposefully showing multiple generations, multiple ways to be a man. Yes, it is extreme with Shaft, and there are a lot of problematic elements. But I do think that there is a method to the madness there.
Shaft leads JJ into Manny's crack den, drops the dealer's two guys, not dead, just bean busted and shot in the leg to teach him a lesson with a good old-fashioned nut stomp. Before he leans on Manny for info, or at least tries to, but Manny beats feet, with JJ to blame for tossing the guns they picked up from the goons. JJ hates guns. The movie wants you to remember this. After a brief chase and some homophobia, JJ and Shaft finally get Manny to talk. Kareem indeed hasn't been around since working on Brothers Watching Brothers.
A trip is necessitated, not without some back and forth between father and son. JJ is furious with his father's actions. Shaft is pissed that JJ wanted his help but doesn't like how the help is given. Regardless, their investigation at BWB bears fruit. Major Gary Cuddy Cutworth, along with Keith and Eddie, friends of Kareem, informed the pair that Kareem had dropped rehab in favor of attending services at a mosque, the Rashad Mosque, that the FBI has under surveillance. Eddie's jumpy, which Shaft notes. Something's going on. What's the connection? Shaft has an angle. He and JJ get back in the car and, aided by the soundtrack, head out into the night to work their lead. I just want to say, who's ever driving the car picks the tunes.
You're right.
That is not universally approved.
Nuh-uh.
Uh-huh.
Okay, whoever thinks that the passenger princess or passenger prince is not. Whoever thinks that, you're wrong.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome. With the way this script is, at that time I wrote that I just hope that father and son have something to learn from one another. Eventually they do, which I'm glad. But yeah, Yeah, I mean, this is all just like run-of-the-mill stuff I'm following. It's nothing special, I don't think. Oh, am I being an ass? Oh, I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, they find the lead, they go do the lead, and now we're doing the thing, and then they're becoming like closer together. Let's continue. I really have no more notes on that.
You like buddy cop movies. This is the format.
Yeah, I like buddy cop movies, but I don't know. There's something, I don't know why Rush Hour. I just love that so much. What is that?
I think that with Rush Hour, first of all, Rush Hour is not nearly as misogynistic as this film
Okay,
is.
actually, you're so right. I mean, I will say Chris Tucker has his moments. Oh my God. Yeah. But it's really not that bad. And we're really about the fighting. And it's not like we're not, putting women down. I mean, women are not uplifted in the film either. So what am I saying? They don't pass the Bechdel test anyway.
It's almost like many of these action films have many problematic aspects to it, just as romantic comedies do.
Oh, you're right. We can still enjoy them, though. You're right. Like you said, we can still enjoy them. I just don't think I enjoyed Shaft. Let's continue, though.
Sharp-eyed viewers will remember the actor playing Manny, Ian Castleberry, from Get Out, among many, many other credits. I felt he did a lot of great subtle things here in a very small role. I'm also reminded, whenever I see a street tough or a goon in a movie, that these were the theater geeks in their high schools. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, the rear projection, the cityscapes, and the windows as JJ and Shaft drive away from Manny, they look awful on my TV. This is a very slick movie, and this bit stands out like it is in a much, much cheaper picture. That being said, I find the film slickly edited, and the score, as well as the soundtrack, aid a lot with a driving beat.
Shaft's lead? It's a little bit of a stretch. Shaft needs to blow off some steam at a club. On a Tuesday, as he states, any kind of woman who gets dressed up to go to a club on a Tuesday is his kind of woman. Use protection, Shaft. Though I'm sure you've had your slew of, diseases. JJ's reticent until two of Shaft's associates, Baby and Sugar, ply him with some alcohol.
As the young folk have some fun, Shaft meets with Freddie P., the club owner and a man with his finger on the pulse of Harlem. He's pissed at Shaft for rattling the cage vis-a-vis working over Manny. But remember Shaft's inkling when JJ first came around? He thinks there's a connection to Gordito, who tried to assassinate Shaft back in '89. Gordito's been laying low, and Shaft wants to tie up this loose end for good. Freddie P. agrees to help look into Eddie, and Shaft goes to save JJ from a club brawl, though JJ, or rather his stunt double, has no problem pulling out some Legend of Drunken Master moves, capoeira. Did you recognize Freddie P., Liz?
Freddie P.?
Yeah, the guy, the club owner.
Club owner? God, I mean, maybe?
That's Method Man, Wu-Tang Clan!
Oh.
And Oz, I think. Definitely The Wire. Oh, God.
I would not have known. I did not. I was paying attention, but I was like, oh, man.
You were more interested in the breasts, and frankly, I cannot blame you. No.
I hate you.
I think Jesse T. Usher does some great acting here, and particularly the physical parts. He's kind of, I wouldn't call it kind of chaotic, but Samuel L. Jackson is much more refined and hulking and brooding, and he is a good contrast to that. Sometimes in bad buddy cop movies, they're too much alike, and kind of like Rush Hour, you have two exact opposites, and I like that you get two exact opposites here, even though they're related, and we're going to see how they're related and connected later on, how there is a bit of Shaft in JJ, and how JJ's new or modern or more modern masculinity can affect Shaft as well.
Yeah. Sasha meets JJ and Shaft at the mosque that Kareem was attending. She's saucy about JJ's hangover and Shaft's presence, but there's more important things to attend to. They meet Anam, a woman who Kareem was seeing. She confirms that he was clean, they were happy, and that he was even helping to build the mosque's youth center. Her father, the Imam, is not happy to see them, however. And when he sees JJ's FBI badge, they all get tossed.
There's father-son talk here, some of which comes across as fairly problematic. But it does lead to a, quote, dinner date, unquote, with Sasha for JJ, when they agree to go over clues and leads, among much else, if the mood is right, if you get my drift. I'm talking about sex. Shaft, meanwhile, learns that JJ's mother, Maya, is coming into town for her own date at a place called Trista's. It looks like love is in the air. As is hacking, as JJ dives into the FBI files on the mosque, he says the dreaded tropey words, "I'm in." And they learn that a grocery store gave $500,000 to the Amon directly. They'll have a lot of time to investigate that lead, too, as Agent Vietti calls and puts him on administrative leave for ignoring orders, not being at his post, and potentially jeopardizing the FBI's case on the mosque.
Shaft and JJ go to meet with the owner of the grocery store, Beanie Rodriguez, who maintains that her donation was completely innocent while using a bat to take out JJ. Shaft's intuition is going into overdrive, however, and he soon makes a link between her and Gordito. The net is tightening, and now JJ has a theory. The grocery store is a front for the Gordito's drug money, which channels it to the mosque, who launder it through missions to Afghanistan, where they get the drugs that fuel the Gordito drug ring. Shaft wants a good old-fashioned stakeout, but JJ sneakily put up a hidden camera on Beanie's desk while he was getting his ass kicked.
You're off the case, Shaft! I have to be honest. I've mocked other films we've covered for their use of tropes. So, The Old Grudge, the drug user gone clean but OD death but not really, the hierarchy-obsessed boss who wants things done by the book. I could literally go on and on and on. I think some of this stuff is being done purposefully to evoke the original films and blaxploitation, but even so, it doesn't mean that the film handles them with any elegance.
I, again, want to echo what you said about, you kind of see these old and new ways coming together and how they intermix. I thought this was a cute little way of showing, like, oh, look at my technology. And Shaft is like, wait, what? This camera? And we don't have to do a stakeout. We could do this. It's much easier. So I did enjoy that. And so it brings me back to the point where I was like, I really hope they learn from each other. And they are. And it's, okay, it's cute. Okay, I get it.
Luna Lauren Velez is here as Rodriguez. You might remember this actor from Dexter, Oz, How to Get Away with Murder, New York Undercover, and many, many, many more. I think her role is kind of underutilized here, and by kind of, I mean very underutilized.
Yeah.
But maybe there was a time constraint. I would be shocked if she filmed for longer than 2 days. I don't remember her in any other scene except for in this one location, and later on when we catch her in a glimpse of the
arrest,
the arrest, and just like a couple cutaways from the security footage. Still, anytime that she shows up, I'm in. JJ and his father bring up sexism here, where JJ claims it's sexist to hit a woman, and Shaft feels that JJ is in fact sexist. I want to reiterate that this film does no service to its female characters. They don't have any agency, or they're evil, or they're sex obsessed, or they're all of the above.
I know that's right, Steele. Thank you for saying that. Say it for the people in the back. Whoever wrote the script, shame on you.
But they're so pretty.
Ugh.
Maya is out on her date with Ron when who should show up but Shaft, flanked by 2 female friends. Maya is furious and is about to storm out with her date when Shaft notices that there are a few burly individuals who don't belong. Is it their build, like those of stuntmen, their ugly mugs, their insistence on not wearing a blazer at a fine dining establishment? Whatever it may be, Shaft knows a shootout when he sees one, and takes out a bevy of baddies sent to put him on ice. Maya is furious with him, even more so when she realizes that JJ is involved in this somehow. Shaft appropriates Ron's car to go to his son's rescue, rightly believing that if there were gun-toting goons sent to whack him, more would be sent for JJ.
And then there's Steele's favorite scene in the film. JJ is talking things over with Sasha, giving us a little too much exposition since we just saw all of this stuff happen. And Sasha reveals that JJ is beginning to sound like his father. JJ rejects it. Kinda. Maybe a little. More important to him is Sasha. There's been a shift between them there, further exemplified when JJ saves Sasha's life to the tune of the Ronettes' Be My Baby, as he borrows Sasha's gun and slow motion blows away several goons from the same crew that attempted to kill his father. Remember, he hates guns, but hey, he's an FBI analyst and was trained. Sasha watches with wide eyes and now sees JJ in a different light. Cue the wedding bells. Ding dong, ding dong. That's how they go, right?
That is how they go.
Bing, wait, okay.
What did you think of this scene, Liz?
Okay, wait, I have the thoughts. We have to talk about something. And all I'm going to say, I'll probably say more than this, but what I'm going to say right now is Regina Hall, and Regina Hall.
I was going to ask if you were going to bring that up because I know you love the scary movies.
Yes, I do. I literally was about to say that. I am such a huge fan of the scary movie series, and the scene where Regina Hall talks to herself in the mirror. It was masterful comedy. It had me reminiscing over the franchise, of the scary movie franchise, and she is so funny. I love her and will always love her.
She has really great comedic timing.
Yes.
There is a lot of overdone humor in this film. I didn't get sick of her. She's a little tropey, the character, and yet her acting and her personality saves a lot of a character that could be one-dimensional.
Exactly. I think that they did a good job casting her. I wish she had more scenes like this by herself. But like we said, this movie does not treat its women right. But I'm glad she has this quick little 30-second clip of... I was literally laughing my ass off. First of all, that is one strong table. Okay, the scene where with Shaft, we're gonna go back to Shaft first. Like that, they were shooting at the table is wood.
Mm-hmm.
There should be bullet holes through the table. I was confused. But anyway, glad they survived. The scene with JJ, I was like, okay, wait, I get it, because who doesn't want to, have their man save them? And, I really do think if that happened to me, I would definitely see whoever I was with in a different light.
Be my little baby.
Be my little
Be my little. Gonna get struck down with a DMCA notice. Ba-ba.
You take it to another level. Thank you, Steele.
Mm-hmm.
Also, okay, hold up. Here's my thing. Pause. Though I love the scene, how the hell did the bad guys know where they were? Like, 2 separate restaurants. Are the bad guys just omniscient? Like, what?
These are the toughest street thugs in New York, and they have their finger on the pulse of New York life. They've got informants, they've got snitches, they've got dealers on every corner. You need a man like Shaft to be able to handle these bad guys.
I wish you could see Steele's face when he's saying all this to me. Okay, sure, Steele. Sure. It's a clean-cut, action-packed scene, and I like it. It was very reminiscent of... I was going to say it's very reminiscent of Rush Hour, but yeah, no It's like an action...
It's a buddy cop action.
It is a buddy cop action film. Why is this your favorite scene in the film, Steele?
For a number of reasons, not the least of which is its style. I mean, this is swag personified. I think there's a two-parter that this scene sets up and pays off. When JJ is said to sound more like his father, it's a signal to the audience that he's changing. Yeah, not too much. He mocks his father's raw language and style, but he comes to understand that there's more to his father than the one-dimensional image his mother painted. This is a statement about not just Shaft the character, but Shaft the film and the whole blaxploitation subgenre. We can look at these films with a critical eye and understand or critique some of its excesses, some of its many excesses, while still appreciating them for what they are, including an over-the-top gratuitous gun battle. More than anything, blaxploitation films are supposed to be fun. And I think everybody in this world wants someone to look at them the way that Sasha looks at JJ at the end of this scene.
Yeah. JJ uses one of the dead goon's phones in conjunction with his own secret camera. Sure enough, Beanie answers. She sent the killers, and there's enough evidence on the phone to tie Gordito to the mosque and the drugs. Shaft and Maya arrive, and due to Maya's influence, that is, her temper, Shaft gets JJ to agree to turn it over to the FBI.
Wrong move. That evidence? Not exactly backed up by anything when the FBI raids the mosque the next day. JJ is deep in...
Shut your mouth.
I'm just talking about John Shaft Jr. Agent Vietti reams out JJ and fires him. JJ's dreams of being an FBI agent are over, and so is his chance at finding out what happened to Kareem. I think the sensitivity vis-a-vis Islam here is not quite handled as well as it could be. I do like the turn here, even if it's a little paint by numbers. The agent is on the force, on leave, but still investigating, kicked off the force, and now has no leads. I'll admit that I'm still vibing with this movie, but it's hanging by a thread.
Yeah, I was pretty much checked out by this point. All the exciting things happened, but I was really wondering how they were going to end this movie because it started to take a couple turns that I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay, we'll go here now. Okay. And then I was like, okay, well, how are they going to solve the murder? Because they're going to have to solve, not the murder, but they're going to have to, the bad guys are going to be put away somehow. I don't know. So I was in it, but I was like, I could stop watching here and be totally content.
Well, that's the movie, right? Of course not. Remember Freddie P? He dug around on Eddie for Shaft. Eddie seems relatively clean, but he has a very interesting relative. Beanie Rodriguez. JJ walks in at the wrong moment and misconstrues the situation. No, wait, the other thing. He construes the situation. Shaft was just using him to get to Gordito. JJ leaves, once more, without his father in his life.
Shaft does some soul-searching in the rain, naturally, though oddly for only a couple of shots, and goes to see Maya. He apologizes for the first time in his life, and Maya realizes that, for all her rearing, JJ is still his father's son. She needs Shaft to protect him and to get off her doorstep.
Okay, so Shaft's characterization is handled about as well as the Three Stooges moving a Monet, but at least there is some arc here. He's still rough around the edges, very rough and coarse, but the film attempts to show him have some growth. He went from a guy who thinks apologizing is weak to reconsidering his actions. It's not Shakespeare, but there have been films we covered that had zero growth from any character.
Okay, you're right. You're right. He did grow. He does have his little arc. And of course, he still has to stay Shaft. He's not going to be completely different. But yeah, I mean, it's just fine. It's simply, that's all. I literally have no notes because it's fine. You know, it does what it says. It's really nothing special. And I was okay with it. You know, sure, yeah, okay, good. I'm glad. Go apologize, you asshole.
JJ is evolving here as well. He's mocked his father and his father's language, but he's shown that somehow his father still got a guiding light. And though he's angry at his father for abandoning him as a child, he's beginning to see a different side of him. The film was positing a theme: we can love someone despite their flaws, which is also a request by the filmmakers to look beyond the tropes and trappings here.
Shaft better move quick because JJ and Sasha have put the pieces together and are staking out Brothers Watching Brothers. Shaft would be so proud. This organization is the real scum. Cuddy and his associates smuggle drugs in from overseas, which Gordito sells, with Beanie laundering the cash. The money to the mosque was to keep Kareem's silence when he discovered it, but his growing conscience was too much, and he needed to be taken care of. Just like Eddie, who Cuddy ices when the former suggests that they turn themselves in. JJ catches it all on his phone, but his position is discovered. Cuddy nabs Sasha, but Shaft comes to his son's rescue, his beloved car getting mauled in the process.
A kidnapped love interest. This film doesn't just fail the Bechdel test, it draws crude doodles and dirty limericks on the exam paper and then turns it into a paper airplane.
Oh my god, that was honestly a perfect description of this film. Thank you, Steele. It's really just, I only have nothing because it's really just like we're going through the motions here. That's what I feel like. We're going through the motions. So I'm like, okay, yeah, great. She gets kidnapped. Okay, now we have to save her. Okay, great. It adds more excitement to the end of the film. Like, ooh, we gotta go somewhere now. We're about to be led to our last position. Okay, let's go.
I know this film uses tropes like some movies use scene transitions, but I can't help but love how Shaft races in here with his beloved car, sacrifices it, and protects JJ.
Also, how the hell did they find where they were at?
He's got his finger on the
Oh
pulse
my
of New York.
god! Oh my god. Shaft and JJ are conflicted. Shaft wants the FBI involved, but JJ wants to go out on his own. They reconcile enough for now. Shaft allowing himself to be vulnerable ever so slightly, and they go over their plan in an Uber. If they're going up against Gordito, they need firepower. And for that, there's only one motherfucker who's bad enough to help them out.
The OG Shaft. Richard Roundtree himself.
Okay, by this point, like the comedy in the Uber, I was like, do we have to have the comedy in the Uber? Can we just have her not say anything, you know?
I'm with you 100%. This Uber scene is a bit much. There's a lot of exposition in this movie, and it feels like, you idiots, you don't know what this movie is about. We have to keep explaining it to you. And if you don't like it, fine, we'll throw in some humor. I read a review and it really summed it up where they were saying sometimes the film can't help itself and it needs to allow some room to breathe. And I think it's really funny, but here particularly, they can't help but put gags and banter and everything. I get the impulse.
Yeah.
Jackson and Usher are radically charming in their own ways, but this Shaft film is an order of magnitude more goofy than the other films. Are you familiar with Roundtree?
You know what? No, I have no experience with the films. Of course, right? But I have experience with films like this. You know, it's fine enough and fun to see Samuel L. Jackson having fun in this film and the film genre that suits him the most. Getting to see the OG Shaft, Richard Roundtree, I'm sure was really fun for the fans, you know, and I'm sure there's a bunch of callbacks in this film.
A ton of callbacks.
For the fans. And of course, you know, they must have been having a field day. I was feeling that like, ooh, like I wish I was on, you know, in on something, but I was also like, it's fine. You know, it makes me happy to think about that. The fans being like, oh my God, and made me kind of want to go back and watch, you know, because I have FOMO. So I want to know what I'm missing out on, but I think it's okay. I'll be fine.
You know, I couldn't help but smile when Roundtree shows up. He's in his late 70s here, and he's still got it. That's his real name, by the way, Richard Roundtree. I always assumed that he had adopted his porn-esque marquee.
Oh my God.
But he was destined to be badass. How can you be named Richard Roundtree and not star in a movie called Shaft?
Oh my God. Mind is blown. Let's go on.
You sweet, sweet, innocent child. The three Shafts. OG Shaft as grandfather, Shaft as father, and JJ as grandson gear up and take the fight to the streets. JJ tracks Sasha to a skyscraper that's either under construction or very minimalist. Gordito finally appears to test the quality of the drugs that Cuddy has brought them in their latest shipment, but the Shafts have other ideas.
They break in through the windows in a call out to the original Shaft. Well, Shaft and OG Shaft do. JJ can't break through. And a gunfight erupts with the usual gang of tropes, using a baddie as a body shield, a damsel in distress yelling for a paramour as she's dragged away, tons of tough guy talk, and not one but two final duels. JJ kills Cuddy with a piece of broken glass. He hates guns. And Shaft blows away Gordito in a slow motion blast out through broken window down the side of the skyscraper.
Shaft calls out the whole let's play a loop of the security detail BS as movie BS, and then JJ does it anyway, and then it doesn't work. I know they wanted JJ to show his skills, but if you call something out, that doesn't mean it's cool to just play with it. You're still calling it out. It's still BS.
I actually kind of thought this was funny.
Ah!
I was like, oh, haha, like, it didn't work. But I mean, I guess that what you're saying makes sense to me, you know, like, but again, I think this movie knows what it is and it knows what it's doing, and so calling it out is like supposed to be like, haha, hee ha, funny. It's like that old man millennial, like Gen X. It's Gen X humor for sure. Sorry, Gen Xers.
I couldn't help but laugh when a goon, after agreeing to a fistfight, pulls a knife on Richard Roundtree, only for Roundtree to pull out his gun, shoot the guy, and call him a pussy. It's so fitting with the original Shaft in his 70s to propose an even match, and then when he's betrayed, show he was packing the entire time.
That was sick. I thought that was awesome. I was like, oh, shoot, okay. Grandfather Shaft, you're really out here, OG Shaft. I thought that was really, really funny, and it was unexpected for me. So anyway, good job, everybody.
The only problem with it was that it happened in the trailer. It's such a funny gag, and I knew it was coming. And
we need to ban trailers.
I understand it's a difficult line to walk. You need to show cool stuff to get people into the theater. But if you show too much cool stuff, then it's too much of a reveal. I honestly think that for some films, like comedies, you should shoot extra footage to put in to give the vibe of it without giving away too much, because particularly for comedies, if you're giving away the jokes, that's the reason you go to a comedy.
Gosh, I hate trailers that show me the whole movie.
Yeah.
I really, really, really do. I'm sure literally you just said, yeah, you definitely do feel that way. But I didn't see the trailer for this one, so I'm glad I didn't, because then it made it actually a fun experience for me. I actually try to stay away from trailers.
Me too.
I like what I really like is, oh God, like film posters.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they say a lot, you know.
I agree with that. I try to avoid trailers. It's almost impossible now when you go to theaters. It's like
That's true.
half an hour of trailers.
That's true.
I used to love them when I was a kid, and now, I will say, I really like when a trailer tells me the entire movie when I know I won't like the movie, because I'm like, great, don't need to go see it now.
Wonderful. It's Cliff Notes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's time for the grand finale, everybody. Shaft was injured but recovers in the hospital, attended to by Sasha, Maya, his son, and his father. JJ gets to kiss Sasha. Beanie Rodriguez is arrested, and JJ makes a triumphant return to the FBI. Or not. He's following in his father and grandfather's footsteps and going into the family business of kicking ass and taking names. There's trouble upstate, and Shaft's granddaddy, daddy, and son are on the case. The last fight / climax sequence was really fun for me, and it was funny and entertaining, and I think the film knows it's silly and laughing at itself, and it shows off all the badassery of the Shaft family, which, you know, I like it. Okay, like it ended on a sweet note, but again, like, okay, great, great.
You've really never heard the Shaft theme song before this?
No, how does it go? Oh, wow, that's like a weird song. No, I'm kidding.
I'll play it for you after this.
Okay, play it for me. I mean, of course, I definitely heard it at the end, but I didn't care, so the movie credits and I paused. But sometimes I let credits play out because I think it's important to hear from the beginning to the end. People have crafted this movie so that you have an experience, and so you have to listen to the end credits. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I don't. But also, I hate when I pause it and then it's like, oh, like the vibe is over. It's gone.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I try and listen to them, but I stopped at this one because I was like, okay, that was it. I'm over this movie. It kind of...
It has to end with the trope. It has to end with Shaft not going and working for the man. The Shafts are on their own. Shafty. They're going upstate. They're going to solve a problem. If they had gone 99%, I think this film would not have worked. They just throw everything in the kitchen sink into this.
Okay, but who wore it best? You know, they're all wearing the same outfit at the end.
I don't want to get killed, so I'm going to say they each wear it in a different way.
Ah, very good.
Trivia. As the film was in pre-production, Netflix signed a deal with New Line Cinema to cover over half of the film's $30 million budget in exchange for the rights, which allowed Netflix to release the film on its platform outside of the United States 2 weeks after the theatrical release in the US. Thus, while the film didn't make money, it wasn't a catastrophic loss either.
There is only a 6-year difference between Richard Roundtree and Samuel L. Jackson.
That is correct. Samuel L. Jackson is only 6 years younger than Richard Roundtree.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
Okay, it's his dad. Oh, well.
In the 2000 remake, Samuel L. Jackson's Shaft was initially the nephew to Roundtree's original Shaft. This was retconned in this film, but without explanation. My bet they wanted this to be a true grandfather, father-son story in this one and didn't want the OG Shaft to be saddled with kids in the 2000 remake.
But you know how they fixed it?
They just said he was pretending it.
Oh yeah, that's literally you just said that, didn't you? Am I crazy? I think I went crazy for a second. I think I lost it. Okay. This film was originally announced as Son of Shaft. I'm so glad that they changed the name.
No, you know what? I really wish it was Son of Shaft.
Really?
Well, just to differentiate. As I said, 3 films in a 5-film series are all named the same thing. So I've got to go OG Shaft, I've got to go Shaft 2000, and then I've got to go 2019 Shaft, the new Shaft.
The new Shaft. Do you think they'll make another one?
Probably not.
Good. Sorry.
No,
I'm not sorry.
No, it's okay. I think as much as I love these films, they are definitely of an era. I think that with the financial disappointment of this, unless they really like a full-on remake in like a decade or two. But Richard Roundtree passed a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson was in 2 Shaft films. Both of them he was not thrilled with.
Oh.
So
I can see why.
And I think that Usher is doing different work now, so maybe, but I think it's highly doubtful. Speaking of, Samuel L. Jackson was initially reluctant to join onto any other Shaft production after he felt disappointed with the original remake, which did well at the box office but was hardly a blockbuster. It's unclear what changed, though working with Roundtree certainly didn't hurt. The film went into production in late 2017, shot mostly in Atlanta with a few pickups, and exteriors shot in New York to place it in the location of the original films.
Pros. I really like the soundtrack of this film. I think the mix of radio music and 70s New York cop funky music, it really brings us into the world. And I think it's fun. And it's kind of my kind of music. So I dug it.
The music is 100%. The soundtrack and the score. You can find it on Spotify. It is superlative. Plus, the Shaft theme is on the Mount Rushmore of movie hero themes right next to Superman, James Bond, and Indiana Jones.
I think that some of the jokes are actually funny.
Yeah.
They landed for me. I laughed. Can't say that for like a lot of other things, but some of them really landed. So bravo. Cheers.
My note is literally humor to a degree. I laughed a lot during this film. There's a broad use of different styles. Regina Hall in that mirror scene, as you referenced, it's hilarious. God. It's great. Even though it is a little trope, it's so funny that I can't help but laugh. I'll also say it is overused at points, forcing a joke, not allowing the film to stand on its own. The other 4 Shafts had humor. This really plays with it, and we'll get to that in just a second.
I really like Samuel L. here. He shines in this film, and you can tell he's just having fun, and that makes me excited to come along for the ride.
The action in this, I feel, is very well shot.
Yeah.
They cut a lot, and I know they have to because they're dealing with 2 septuagenarians in this who can't really do all of the stuff anymore. Who can blame them in your 70s for not being able to do action like one used to do? But it's still, the editing is slick. The transitions are slick. There's so much slickness to it. I loved the different frames and different angles used throughout the picture. It's a great transitionary device.
I just want to know what goes through your head. Like, what is in your mind? Because I've never heard the word septuagenarians. You guys, Steele has the most vast vocabulary I've ever experienced in my life. How do I septuagenarians?
Septuagenarian.
And I'm sure that just means old.
70 years old. Sept.
Oh! See, maybe I just need to like know my prefixes. Okay. Cons. This film certainly does not treat its women well, and I don't love that. I hate that, actually. Also, it certainly doesn't pass the Bechdel test, which you said before. I mean, okay, hear me out. We could have had the main army bad guy, be a woman. and Beanie and her could have spoken about the drugs or something. It was that easy. It was right in front of them. But unfortunately, no.
The women in this film are flat. It is a masculine, macho movie for men. I cannot argue with that criticism. I have no cover for that.
As you shouldn't.
Mm-hmm. I'll also say it doesn't have a lot of thematic heft. It does have some character arcs, and it's more than just a dumb action movie, but only just. More than that, it's definitely an ode to the original Shaft and its blaxploitation roots. So there are aspects to it that some will find offensive or stereotypical. Personally, I do think it uses these very purposefully and even subverts them at points. JJ, as an example, hates guns and doesn't cut a figure that would fit a normal action star. But I do hear what people say when they refer to this and all of that kind of stuff.
The acting for me is fine. I feel like, they do what they have to do, I suppose, but there's nothing special. I think the comedic timing, however, is a whole other thing, and it's really, really great. And I think acting and comedic timing can be two separate things.
100%.
Yeah.
Gordito and Beanie are criminally underused here. We don't even really get to meet the big bad guy until the third act.
I'm not scared of him.
Yes, there's not been enough to develop that. And meanwhile, we have so much exposition. So much. In every scene, it's like we need to recap. It's not that difficult of a film to follow. This is not some kind of Sherlock Holmes where are these details that you need to pull together in the drawing room scene. This is an action movie and things are happening and it's pretty clear why and how.
This film has the very basic necessities and nothing more. And I don't feel like that's a good thing.
Oh, that has a lot more. And by that, I mean it has tropes. A lot of them.
Ugh, yeah.
They're used purposefully at points. Sometimes they work, but there are some that just stick out and you're off the force and welcome back. Nah, I don't work with the man. Like it just, oh man, it really embodies this kind of film.
Personal opinion.
This is a movie geared towards men, and that's fine. What do you think, Steele? Can these two things peacefully coexist? Should people be angry at a film that mistreats its women and gives them one dimension, or is it being too sensitive, given the context of what it is?
I do understand why the critics hated this film on release. If you're not into this style and genre, it has a lot of problems. I also know why audiences did get around to seeing it. At this point, the original Shaft film was nearly 50 years old, and much of what it had helped establish had either become a part of the standard cinematic lexicon or it had become a trope. And yeah, and I can't argue about any of the problematic stuff in this. If you don't like it, it's not working any harder to try and make you like it. That said, at the same time, I think that this is how you do a requel. This is the formula. The film can stand on its own for those who have never seen the other film. It works better if you have, but it also works just as well as part of the series. It's got great action from a talented director. Usher, Jackson, and Roundtree are great for me. The subversions are fun. I genuinely laughed. Unfortunately, it didn't make any money, so we're going to be stuck with endless Spider-Man remakes from now until eternity. And I also will say, I loved this movie the first time I saw it. I saw some more cracks the second time I saw it.
I personally feel that this media, while fun and potentially nostalgic, can be potentially harmful for women, but I didn't feel that way while watching, which was kind of freaky. I laughed and had a bit of fun, and maybe I'm just so conditioned to this type of media that I didn't recognize it right away, and maybe that's something I need to work on. I think it is something I need to work on. And the industry just has done it for so long. It's their turn, though, to work on it. It's not hard to write women. Or is it?
The verdict.
The critics and the crowd are divided. Only 34% of professionals approve of 2019 Shaft, while a whopping 93% of audiences give it a thumbs up. Where does your thumb rest, Steele? Up, down, halfway, or up your nose?
Up my nose.
Oh,
no.
Great.
This is not high art, and I couldn't care less. I think the critics massively missed on this one. Not every movie needs to be Oscar bait, and I'll gladly rewatch this movie again. The crowd wins with Shaft. 93%, a little high, but I'm much more on that side than I am at 34 or whatever it is. At only 119 minutes, it's not overly long either. And you know what they say about Shaft?
It's not size that matters.
He's a complicated man, and no one understands him but his woman.
That's the song?
Yes!
Oh, good. That's good. That was really good.
Thank you. What about you, Liz?
What about me? Oh, God. What about me? I think we can gather how I feel about this. I think it's really fun for the fans. That's the only explanation for its incredibly high rating. And I can understand both scores. I feel like... I don't know. God, it's hard. I feel like I'm a bit in between, but the way I feel like my womanness hurts, but I kind of did have a little bit of fun. I don't know. I feel like my critics, I agree with my critics, but I might even just go lower than my critics. Hear me out. I understand where you're coming from because it's like my love for Twilight and Twister. Some may not understand, and that's okay, but I'm going to love it anyway. I gave this 1 star.
Yeah, so critics. Yeah, what he said 1.5.
Oh yeah, 1.5. Yeah, but yeah, just 1. Just don't, that half is not needed. And that was Shaft.
Shaft.
Should I try? Shaft. Okay, I'm going to stop saying that. Are you with the critics or the crowd on this one? Let us know and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And hit us up on our socials to find out when and where we'll be dropping next. I'm Liz Ramirez, signing off. Steele?
I feel very emasculated by the timidity of our send-off compared to Shaft's.
Then just sing it. Just sing it. I regret everything. Stop.
The Critics in the Crowd is hosted by Liz Ramirez and Steele Philippek. Editing and production handled by Steele. Social media by Wendy Dobkin. Logo by Aria Feliciano. Music by Joel Studler, provided via Humble Bundle. All audio effects are sourced through freesound.org and used under the Creative Commons license. If you feel that we used a piece of audio to which you own the rights, please email helmstarmedia@gmail.com.